Hey guys, welcome to another episode of As the Leader Grows. I've got the coolest couple on the planet with us today, guys. He is the guru of peace. Together, they lead the Hang Loose movement. Just spending some time with these guys off air. You guys are in for a treat today. Beth and Jay, what's up, my friends?
We're hanging loose.
That's right. We're hanging loose. We're always hanging loose. Glad to be here.
I love it. I love it. So you guys are an entrepreneurial couple. Jay, you started a protein business, a protein brand, floundered. Beth comes in the picture, as every great woman with a Midas touch does, and you guys blow a business up. Like walk our audience through. You've got a business now. You meet a woman. Walk us through that journey with you guys.
Well, I started the business in 1988, and my initial goal was to simply educate people on health and fitness because I was an old school bodybuilder. I had a fitness club before that. I was actually in the health food industry at the time, managing a health food store in San Diego. And I wanted to do more, so I learned the health food business and decided to take it at the next level beyond education because I was doing seminars and so on. And so I created a protein powder because I was a nutritionist. And so I was creating diets. And I said, I would tell people to use a protein drink. They didn't know what I was talking about because they weren't bodybuilders. And I said, well, let me recommend one. And I couldn't really find one that I approved of because I didn't care for the ingredients. They were all either like a soy protein, or they had artificial ingredients or sugar or odd sweeteners or whatever. I said, I don't want anything artificial in here. So I created I call it the best tasting protein on the planet and put it out there. And it kind of fell flat for a few years. I got it around to some stores and different things in Southern California. And then in early 1990, I wrote the book, The Fat Burning Diet. And then after that, I started teaching the burning diet, and then I produced it, got on TV. Kind of the rest is history because once I platformed it out as this is how you use a powder to lose weight, feel great, and all that. People, oh, now I know what to do with it, and I just happen to have on the shelves the best tasting protein out there. So it kind of worked out very well, and it's been a long road. And then to catch me up all the way through that, it's been a wonderful ride. God blessed. Well, and I will give him all the glory simply because I tried to pray before every decision I made. And if I didn't, I paid the price, or the business paid the price.
Don't we always?
And I grab the wheel and I'm in the ditch, and then he grabs the wheel and I'm back on the road. And then, give me that wheel. No, so finally, fast forward all the way up to 2009. And our whole story comes together, and I had not seen Beth since she was 7 years old because our parents were best friends when we were kids. And so she was born, and I saw her when she was 2 days old. Her mom brought her home, and I said, wow, I had no idea that she was going to be the love of my life at some point. So like 35 years went by. I didn't see her. She moved away. I moved away. And I'm in San Diego. She's in Dallas, and we got reconnected through our mothers.
Wow.
And then that's kind of a bizarre story there. And within 2 days, I was in love with her. Didn't know what she looked like because I was just emailing. And we've been inseparable ever since.
But the best part of that story is, we had both had two failed marriages behind us, and many relationships. And I was in Dallas, and I remember distinctly, I got down on my knees in my living room. I had three little girls. I was a single mom. I got down on my knees. I said, okay, God, clearly I am incapable of picking out a mate. So I need you to do it. You do it. You pick out who I'm supposed to be with. I don't know why it took me so long to get to this point, but I'm a slow learner. So I thought, you know what? This is what I need. And then I asked God, and let me receive it. Sometimes, we ask for things, and then we just kind of we just go along aimlessly, and we're really not picking up on the obvious signs that God gives us. And so I just straight up asked God, let me receive it. Let it be so obvious. It's like you just hit me right between the eyes. Like there's no way I can miss this. It's like Bruce Almighty. Remember when he's driving along and all the signs stop, he's just still going. That's me. So I let me receive this. And a week later, Jay emails me a book from his mom to get to my mom. Neither one of them had computers, and said, "Hey, I don't know if you remember me or not." I'm like, "What?" So then we start emailing back and forth. We were in love within a week.
Wow.
We had,
for me, you were a little bit slower.
well, yeah, again, the slowness.
I didn't even know what she looked like the last time I saw her.
She was still trying to drive the car, Jay. She hadn't realized I'm supposed to be in the passenger seat over here. So let me ask you a question.
Driving the car.
Oh, I know, right? So single mom, 3 kids. Yeah,
Yes.
single mom, 3 kids. Like, God, man, what's going on? Just send me who you want.
Oh, it was crazy. I was working like crazy. I was working at one point 3 jobs. At some points 80 hours a week. I mean, I wasn't afraid to work to provide for my family. But, I'm a little old fashioned. Plus, I feel like I love being a couple. Like, I was made to be in a loving relationship. I would rather be alone than be miserable, but I'm definitely meant to be in a loving relationship.
So when you guys, I got a couple questions I got to ask. So when you guys got together, you both had 2 previous marriages.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So 4 marriages between the 2 of you. When you got together, what made you think this one was going to be different?
Well, going back to my prayer and the whole let me receive it, I remember distinctly knowing the moment he emailed me. I read that email and I thought, it just immediately hit me. When I asked God to let me receive it, he delivered. I immediately thought, oh, this is him. And I thought, well, this is silly. Why am I even thinking this? Once again, trying to drive my own car. And I'm like, okay. And so I'm emailing back. And then I realized, no, this is him. And I just knew. And my mom, I used to ask my mom this question years and years ago. How do you know that you're with the love of your life? And she goes, well, you just know. And I thought, well, that's not an answer, but it is an answer. You do just know. You know without a doubt. And I think you know without a doubt when you pray and you listen for God and the Holy Spirit to speak through you or speak to you, you know without a doubt. But you have to listen. You have to receive it. You gotta pay attention. And that was for me.
And I think that's hard sometimes. I just, I do the largest faith-based entrepreneur conference in the country every year in Atlanta with friends like John Maxwell and Ed Mylett and Brendan and just a lot of amazing people, Erwin McManus. And this year we did what I called 46-10 moments between each of our core 5. And I said, how many of you entrepreneurs love to be still? And they're like, no, like we're entrepreneurs. Like we don't know, be still. God, you put this massive vision in my heart. Yeah, you want me to be still. But when we are still and we do say, okay, God, send me the right man. And God goes, okay, I'm going to honor your stillness. I'm going to honor you in this position. So not only get over here to Jay real quick, because bro, you got a business. It sucks. Now God's connected you. I mean, when I've never had a couple say we emailed each other and we knew we were in love. I'm like, whoa, okay, that's good. Because it's not like we had FaceTime. There's no AOL back in the day. Like you're emailing each other. So you
on
guys,
dial-up.
There you go, back on dial-up. I know, right? And all the noise. That's funny. Hey guys, we're kicking it old school today on As the Leader Grows. That's funny. So Jay, you guys get together. She comes in. You guys are in a relationship, and you're doing business. You guys date, obviously get married. What in the world was that like for you guys to do business together as a brand new married couple?
Well, let me backtrack 1 second before she told exactly what she told her story, and it was a week before I emailed her that I had said a prayer to God. I had the main line, direct line there. I go, God, I obviously can't do this. What do I do? I said, if there's somebody out there you want me to be with, then have her show up and let me recognize her. And it was about a week later, I think it was 2 weeks for you, but it was about a week later for me that I sent the email. And it was by day 2, I kind of recognized that the first email that I sent when she emailed back, I just felt it. I felt the energy of something. And the second day in, I said, wow, I'm like head over heels in love. And I don't even know what she looks like. I just know some, how she types.
Wow. So when did you guys see each other the first time?
Oh, it was like
July, like
yeah. So this
2
was
months later.
from April 27th to mid-July was the first time we saw each other. In at DFW, we planned a trip to Fort Lauderdale for a week together. And so, I mean, you talk about faith.
She's in Dallas and I'm in San Diego, and so we're having this long distance email relationship.
Well, and then as this whole thing's going on, as we're having our little love affair with our letters, you know, it was very old fashioned, very sweet. With our love letters. We really didn't speak on the phone for what a month.
Wow, probably.
Yeah. And then we didn't even see each other. I wouldn't send him a picture of me. I kept acting like, oh, my phone doesn't have, it doesn't really take pictures. It did. It was a bad lie, but I really did not want him to see me because I put on some weight. And I thought, uh-oh. So I immediately went on his diet plan without him knowing. And I was using protein frantically.
That's the greatest thing ever.
I like going crazy. And I'm like, I dropped 36 pounds in 3 months. I was like, I'm ready. I can do this. So
here's the $1 million question, Beth, is it the greatest tasting protein ever?
Absolutely.
I love
Hands down.
I love it. Okay. So you guys meet 2 weeks later, go off to the beach for a week. Now you know, like, okay, this is my partner.
Now,
Proverbs 3 says a man that finds a wife, or Proverbs 18, a man that finds a wife finds a good thing. You guys are ready to roll. So you get married. Let me let you jump back into your story, Jay, because I think we interrupted you just a minute ago.
Oh, well, I think you asked me about the business and it was going and it was whatever. The business was ripping and rocking and rolling. So, I mean, before she entered the scene, we were just climbing up, and then I went through a divorce and you know, that was kind of the rocky personal
before me,
life before her.
Yeah.
And that opened the door though for where I needed to go and be with the love of my life. Because I'd had visions of her years ago, and when I was praying and meditating, I liked it. Like you mentioned, be still. That's like my motto. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs. Why would I be still? I want to be thinking and creating and stuff. And I think because the best times I've ever had are when I'm quiet and listening to the actual CEO that I work for, because he always knows what to do, what not to do, and so I just listened to that. So business was always good as long as I stuck with that. When we came together, what it created for me was a different perspective, because my second marriage, I didn't have a wife that was participating with me. This time I had a willing person that God had brought me who liked what I was doing and also wanted to take it into a different level. And she opened my eyes to mainstream. I was in a Southern California bubble, trust me, for most of my life. So I really didn't think that people lived a certain way. And I didn't know they drank, they shopped at regular grocery stores and that they drank like Dr. Pepper and Coke. I did not. I'd forgotten that happened because I've been teaching so many seminars and so many things about being healthy, fitness clubs and on and on. And so she opened my eyes back to, look, this isn't how the rest of the world is. You can't expect them to be something they're not.
Right.
I had to humble myself and go, okay, I'm not God walking around here. So I need to stoop to the level of how do I connect with other people? Well, she was the inroad. She's really good at that. So I got to see how the rest of the world lives and now connect with them. And that's where we can actually help more people, where instead of just an elite few perhaps, or something like that, or maybe even like in the bodybuilding days and so on. So that's where it excelled.
So you're doing your protein brand. You did that for 30 years and focused on fitness, helping people become the best version of themselves in their physical fitness. And then you kind of transferred into the GOP, which doesn't mean the Republicans. That actually means the guru of peace.
Yes.
In 2018, I had like an epiphany. I felt like I wanted to return to my roots, because my roots were hippie. My Hippieville roots were to grow my hair and really just live with peace and love is my motto. And so that's what I returned to, but without maybe the barefoot, dirty hippie look, but more of a rock star style. So in 2018, I said, you know what? I want to return to my old school look that I was very comfortable with, headband and all. And I wanted to shift and give back to the world, because God had blessed us so well. So, I mean, we were just so blessed with success.
Yeah.
And I wanted to give back in a way that I didn't feel like anybody was giving back at the time enough. As far as specializing again where the hippies left off, of peace and love. I wanted that message to be resurrected, so to speak. I wanted people to keep it fresh and alive in their mind that we're here to love, and that peace is really peace of mind. That's what Jesus taught. That's what, that's what it's all about. Peace, you can't expect anybody to behave a different way. The peace comes from you. When you have peace, the world is at peace. And so there you have it. So I wanted to do that. So that's what I started, and I've been doing that. And I decided I'd write music. I'd never been into a musician before. And that got me started into, how do I get the message out there? Well, God says you're a rock star. As bizarre as that may sound, that was the words, that you're a rock star. I go, well, okay, I'll believe you, God. And so I started recording soon, and people showed up, and I just out of the blue, and they were all faith-based people, and it was just incredible. And not that I'm shocked or surprised, but it was just wonderful, because that's how it always works when you kind of let go and then let God, as we used to say back in the day. And so I put the music out. It was all about peace and love and being kind. And so I decided we'll start the Hang Loose movement. I just really want to be supported. Part of that, I'll put this up here. This is a sticker we
see that, bro. Come on, I see it. Yeah, that's great.
It looks just like me. 65,000 of the stickers I got to send out and give out to people to help them get to my website, and to also remind them to hang loose and be kind and loving. And I just want to be perhaps the new peace symbol. So that's where we're at now. And we want to just take it to the next level. And as a couple, we're doing it very well. I feel like our synergy is way different than my years of, I've done 500 weight loss seminars across the nation. I've been on TV hundreds of times, but by myself, it's different than when we're together, because she's got this energy and a dynamic that I don't know what it is. God just says, you guys just mesh together. And I feel like now we can reach the globe.
I've got some things I want to ask you about, but I've got to stop, and I got to back up just a little bit to each of you guys came in with 2 marriages. And I'm sure you've heard the stats. Stats inside the church don't look any different than stats outside the church.
Yeah.
Basically half of everybody who gets married gets divorced. Second marriages, it's about 67%. First marriages, second marriages, it's about 67 to 70%. So like almost 3/4 or 2/3 of those don't make it. Like, at what moment in your marriage, and I want both of you guys to answer 2 questions. What moment in your marriage, when you guys got together, did you go, this is different? This is not going to be like it was before. And why?
Okay. Well,
she can answer
first. Okay. So I'm going to compare, which you never should do, but I'm going to do it anyway, because that's how I roll. My first marriage, I knew at the wedding that I should not have done this. It was I was filled with regret instantly. I thought, oh no. Okay. Second marriage, I knew within the first, I don't know, probably a couple of weeks. After I got,
I didn't know that one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking
so, marriage with Jay, I've never, since we started dating, since you emailed me, I have never had a moment of doubt at all. So I feel like that's the only way I can say that it was different. Like I've never had a doubt at all.
So what characteristics from Jay do you feel like made you feel safe enough to never doubt? What were some of the things that he did?
I could tell you characteristics, but I don't know that that's it. I feel like I just know, like there's just this connection that I feel with him, and it just only grows stronger and stronger and stronger. But if I did have to put some characteristics in, he makes me laugh every day. I think he cares more about me than he does himself. He always puts me first. He loves so many people. He loves everybody, truly loves them unconditionally. And when I say unconditionally, truly unconditionally, I thought I was the most forgiving person on the face of the earth until I met Jay. And I'm like, wow, okay, like this is my guy.
You're the most.
And I said, no, you are. No, you are.
So, okay. So can I ask Jay a question really quick? Because
Yeah.
that's huge for what she just said. So, because I thought I was the most forgiving person in the world until I met you. What makes it easy for you to forgive?
Ooh, I guess I have no expectation for an outcome, and an expectation of having people behave a certain way just creates a fake world, a fake life, or a disappointment. So for me, I just try to let go of everything past the present moment. And if I want to recall it, I can bring it up, but I very, very rarely need to, want to, or have to, except obviously in business and, doing that. But as far as anything that's happened in the past, it doesn't really exist. I've learned from it. I use the wisdom from it. So I let it go. And that way I don't harbor any feelings or anything like that. She's equally, I think we're equal here, and I'll go against her a little bit. I think we have an equal amount of kindness and forgiveness, which is kind of new to me, to be around a mate like that who is, I mean, she's just happy, and I'm happy to be with her. She's happy to be with me. I don't ever doubt anything that's going on, and she's always going to be honest and true with me, or true to me. And it's just living without any uncertainty with a partner gives you the feeling that really it's just love. I recognize her love.
So maybe the question I need to ask you guys then is this: what changed in you guys? Maybe it's not the him or her. What changed in you to position you in such a way that you were ready to receive what God had for you?
Ooh, I know that one.
Oh, go, please.
Because when I was definitely younger, and before I even got married to my first wife, I used to meditate a lot, and I had started to see things, I had visions, and so on. I envisioned her, and like that she was the person I was to marry. And so I kind of knew that way back, and that was in the very early 80s. And so I kind of knew all along. So when she finally showed up, it was like, oh, there you are. Just seeing her, and then even her children, seeing her children, it's like I already had the vision of them before. So it wasn't a shock. So I just knew, and just I don't know, I recognize love when someone has genuine, true love. You feel it, and that takes the fear out of life. And when you can have two loving people that are kind, caring, and giving, then you're not with a taker. There's takers out there, and I don't think it makes for a pretty marriage at all, because one gives and one takes. In this case, I feel like we're both very giving, but we have to learn to give to each other and take from each other. And we both still learn and grow, and we kind of let God lead us through that. And I'm just blessed. I don't know what.
I love that, man. I love that. So we talked about faith. We talked about faith off air. I shared with you guys a little bit of my background. I was 25 when I gave my life to Christ. I'd never been to church, maybe a handful of times, but I had no idea. First time I heard the gospel was August the 8th of 1993. 2 weeks later, on the 22nd, I gave my life to Christ. My life was dramatically changed. Talk about the importance of faith for you guys in your relationship and in your business.
Well, for me, faith is everything, because I don't rely much on the material world. I rely on the world that God leads me through, or the journey that God has for me. And I may not understand everything, like God says you're a rock star or you're whatever. And this is what I do. And the other day, he said, ask and you shall receive, because I had a challenge with, how do what am I going to do in my movement? How can I support that, or whatever? And he's asking, you shall receive, and you will get all the support you need, because spreading peace and love is journey, as the GOP, or the Guru of Peace. So faith is everything in my life. I have faith in my wife. I have faith in the business. I have faith in the direction I'm going. And the beauty that I live by is this. I've lived in a tent. I've lived in communes. I've lived in all kinds of things without any material things at all around me. And I know that if that ever had, if God had said, this has got to go away for now, I'm not afraid to be humbled into nothingness. Because, and if he wanted me to have it back again, I'd have no problem having it back, because I have faith that wherever he wants me to go is okay. I don't need stuff. I just need to be around loving people and have God guide me through this life.
Well, I tell you,
with the, I need to connect with.
Yeah, I tell you, there's a scripture in Kings that says the eyes of the Lord roam to and fro, searching the earth, trying to find someone whose heart is loyal to him. And when he does, he will bless the socks off of them, because they understand it's not really about me. Like, they understand stewardship. They understand, God, you've entrusted me with this to be able to make an impact and have influence around the world for your kingdom. Beth, I'll pose the same question to you. Talk about faith and prayer, and really just leaning on the wisdom of God to grow your business and your marriage.
Well, I'll tell you, I was a little latecomer to the faith game. I remember as a child always questioning, what about this? What if this happened? I was very fear driven. I almost absorbed it like a sponge. If people were fearful around me, I was also fearful. And I remember one time my grandmother, I was talking to her and I was asking some question about the Bible, and she said, I don't even remember what it was. And she says, oh, Beth, you must have faith. And I thought, oh, she doesn't get it. Well, clearly she got it. I didn't get it. And so what I found was my experiences then, starting with my getting down on my knees, asking for God to pick out my person, and then I had to, at that point, that's the first time I ever really remembered practicing true faith. Now, God didn't make me wait long. He only made me wait a week. So thankful for that. But I'm a very impatient person. And so throughout these years, I have had, things that have come up. And one of the last things I can remember was when COVID had just started, and I was extremely fearful in the beginning. Meanwhile, Jay over here is walking around like, oh, no big deal. Here, I'm going to have a watermelon for lunch and hang out with my buddies. I'm like, what are you doing? What if we all die? Because, well, then we all die. And I'm like, what? It was just, I was a hot mess. And I remember just thinking, like, I mean, it was down to the point I had one little thing of sanitizer wipes. Like, that's all I had. They took them off the shelves in the grocery. Couldn't get any more. So I'm using one wipey per day for the whole day to wipe down every piece of grocery that comes in, every piece of mail, the same wipey. Like, it's completely insane. And one day I was like, I don't know, about a month or so had passed, and I'm walking through my house, and my daughter had put together a sandwich board that my sister-in-law had given me for Christmas. It was sitting up in the kitchen since December of 2019. It had been sitting there. I looked at it every day. But one day I'm walking through and I read the sandwich board, and it's 2 Timothy 1-7. I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember exact words, but God has not given me, God has not given me a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind, which I was not using. And I thought,
hijack.
And then I thought, okay. And that was almost my faith. Have faith that God has this. Stop being fearful. Stop worrying about everything. God's got it. Just go live your best life. Be loving, be kind, do all the good things, and it'll be okay. And so that was my.
I love that. Talk about your philanthropy and giving back, and the things that you guys get an opportunity now, and what is that like? What are some of the different things you're doing? Maybe our audience wants to get connected in some of that as well, and talk about fulfillment at this stage of your marriage and this stage of your life.
Well, that was the whole point behind the Guru piece and the music videos. I wanted to invest. I invested in the stickers because I want people to remind it to hang this, and it's all about peace and love. And so the music, we put that together, built a recording studio, and did all that. We put on the side of our boat the Guru piece, and that when we take that out, so everything we're doing is to market. We're basically marketing for God, peace and love. Is really the direction we're taking that. We always have wanted to start a foundation. Well, the first one will be the Hang Loose movement, and we'll just ask a membership for that's just $10, and people get my little hang loose handbook in return for that and the support to help us continue. I'll call it a ministry, but continue spreading the love. If you know, that's the best words I can come up with. And so that's the direction we're going now. We have other foundations that we do want to start with or start down the road, but we're going to start with this one and get as many followers and people on board as we can. Because I really want to keep this simple. I don't want it to be complex. I don't, you know, I'm not asking for large sums of money or do this. I really want it to simple, and let's just kind of do this together by the millions or the billions and make something happen that way through music and through just floating around and loving.
Well, and I got to say too, you know, when Jay hands out these stickers, or especially when Jay hands them
I
out,
love that, man. That's the greatest thing ever.
Something, I know it seems so silly because it's just, you know, it's a sticker.
I love
this sticker puts a smile across everyone's face that gets one. And it transcends, it doesn't matter if you're a male or a female, if you are, what race you are, what political party you belong to, it does not matter. Everyone, as soon as they get this, they're just like, what? They get so excited. We're hugging, loving. And it just, I don't know what it is about this sticker, but it just makes people happy.
It's like God gave me, oh, sorry.
Real quick. Go ahead, Jay.
Real quick. We designed this, I think, in 2018. So what we did was put together something different. Well, I was going back and forth with headbands because I wanted to go back to my old school headband. We tried red one and, you know, the black one and the green one. We tried all different colors. We came to the teal one, and she says, yeah, the teal is it. And so we went out in public every day and see which color attracted people to which they remembered the most. And it was, so we spent probably 3 years creating the Guru of Peace as God wanted it to be, as far as a recognizable brand of peace and love. And that's absolutely at least 3 years we did that, and the sticker was one part of it.
Well, and one other, go ahead.
And I don't know what happens, but it's like, and I'm not saying I'm wearing a costume because it's really me, but when I'm out in public, there's something magical happens, and I enjoy it because I feel God wants me to be and us together, which is even better. It's as attractive as possible, because the more attractive we are to people, the more we can either love them, give them direction or support, or just listen to them. So we're useless if we can't attract people to us. And so I feel like that's where we're at and what we kind of created.
Well, your authenticity gives them permission to be authentic. Even if it's going, here's where I'm at, and I'm not in a good spot.
Yes. Well, you know, and then something else that we do, and it seems, you know, it's not like a big charity or anything, but this is just how we like to give back. We both worked in the restaurant business. One of our children owns a restaurant. And, you know, I always say a meal is one of the sweetest things anyone can ever provide for you. Serving that meal also, like, it really is. Like, that's just like we have to eat. And it's just, and also when you're eating, you want things to be peaceful. You want your servers to be kind. You want the people preparing your food to be happy. And so we always feel like giving back to, you know, because people are cheap. They don't tip. They don't take care of these people. Right. And it's like, wait, you know, let's take care of people. So when we go out to eat, if there's a valet, we always valet. You know why? Because that's their job to provide for themselves or their family. And we always tip generously. We tip generously inside. Jay always tips before. He tips the server in the beginning, and then we tip also after. But the before tip is always like, wait, what? They don't quite know, but it just lets them know, hey, I appreciate you. I see you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for serving us. We're being served. We're being served. And it's, and so we, and in December, when it's like Christmas time, that's our favorite time. We like to go out then and just pass out hundreds to people, random people, just like, hey, you know what? Merry Christmas. Have a happy day. And that's what
I'm coordinating. I don't know if you guys know Dan Fleischman, but he's a good friend of mine. Dan does the $100 tip dinners. So he'll have a group. So I'm organizing one for Atlanta. They did one last year, just a meet and three place in California, group of guys. I think they did $20,000. The server
Like
gets
each
half. No, I think it was total.
Okay.
It was like 20 grand total between like 10 guys. Some of them gave 100, some of them
Okay.
gave a couple thousand. But it was like 20,000 ish. And the server got half, and it was right before Christmas. And then the other half they give to all the servers are split. And it's
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Oh, it's a game changer. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, so we'll catch up off air about that. But I think that's amazing. And so one of the things I do that's just people think it's odd, Uber, Lyft, Instacart, or Uber Eats. Like if I order something, they're delivering that or they're coming to pick me up. As soon as they take my ride or they take my order, I send them a text and I say, hey, thank you so much for grabbing my order. I appreciate you doing that.
Oh, I love that.
And they're
I'm
just
gonna start
like,
doing that.
they're just like, what? Almost like what you guys do when you're tipping them before the dinner. Like, what did you say? Nobody does that. Yeah. But but do you know how much it changes them? And it just is like, again, it is the guru of peace and the hang loose movement. It's like, man, it's just, you said something about peace just a while ago. I said this to my entrepreneur group the other day on our call. We're actually for the first time ever, we're actually in a series on Philippians. So I shared them the other day. I said, I've never walked up to somebody and said, hey, can I pray for you? And they go, nope, don't want you to pray for me ever. That's never happened before. They're like, I don't care. Think about it. I don't care if you walk in the club in Atlanta at midnight and find the drunkest person in the club. Hey, can I pray for you? You better believe you can. I mean, it's like everybody is like, of course you can. So do you know the impact and the difference it makes when we just do those small random acts of kindness for people? You want to talk, you said earlier, I don't know, it may have been when we got cut off the first time, like where our world's at and can we change it? Doing what you do and your movement, this hang loose movement, the guru, of course you can. Because listen, peace transcends everything. Transcends politics, transcends religion, transcends, I don't agree with you, I'm a different color than you, rate everything. Because man, when that peace and that authenticity that you guys carry, because I feel it, when you guys get in a room or you're connecting and having a conversation or having a relationship with somebody, man, that peace it's palpable. Like you can feel that presence and that peace.
Yeah, well, I think that what's important that happens is that when we're around other people, we validate them as a person, and we're grateful and thankful for what they do, whether they're picking up the trash. I mean, they don't know. I mean, handing out $20 bills to the trash people just randomly. And I'm not here to toot my horn. I didn't even want to talk about it, but that's what we kind of do. I know, but it's just done because I'm so grateful. She's more giving than I am. Yeah. And so when we give, we just kind of want to do it. And we always go by like the Holy Spirit guiding us to, I think this person needs this. So especially if we're going to be extra generous for some reason, but I just more than anything, and it's free. Anybody listening or watching right now, it's always free. Just say, hey, I love you. I love you, brother. I love you, sister.
Or thank you.
Or thank you very much for taking good care of us, or taking care of my family at dinner, or do whatever it is, or thank you for delivering the mail to me. I mean, I really appreciate it. People there's just starved for it to the point where they're just almost bewildered. Like
it blows them away when you do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it just makes their day. And I hope it does. I hope everybody I meet, and especially that we meet, walks away with a smile on their face. Yeah. That's the plan.
It is. It is.
I love
that. And then another thing we just started our podcast.
That was the next thing I was going to ask you. So you guys, y'all hit topics that most people don't hit. Like you talk about things most people are like, I'm not sure I want to go there. What are some of the topics you guys have hit on your open bar? I love the open bar podcast. I think that's amazing.
Thank you.
The concept.
It's called Open Bar Taboo Talks, straight up and on the rocks.
Come on, girl. I love it.
Because I feel like that's how we are. And we toyed around with who would be on this, and then we realized we love being together, so we do it together. And we also aren't afraid to call each other out. So that makes it way more fun. but like the first episode, which is already out, is are you with the love of your life? Or would you,
we're experts.
Or would you take $10,000? Would you leave your mate for $10,000? You'd be surprised at people who would take $10,000 and leave. Like, what? 10,000? Really? That's it? You're gone? They would. Wow. So that's one of the topics. Another one is going to drop on this Friday, which is opposing political friends and foes. Can you be friends with someone from a different political party?
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. So Cuttino Mobley played in the NBA for about 13 years. First round draft pick, played for Houston Clippers. He's a really good friend of mine. He lives in LA. And we, on some of the things, are diametrically opposed when it comes to. So we're actually doing some podcast shows together called Black and White, a perspective. Because
that's a good one.
And I shared something to him. We talked, and I was like, "Dude, I love you." And like he goes, man, he says, "You're my guy." I mean, I grew up in Detroit, so I grew up in the hood a little bit. But he was like, if you're with me, even though we disagree on you're my guy. You and I may be able to have conversation. I'm like, bro, you're an idiot. Why do you think that? Like, that's the kind of conversations we have. Like, I'm like, dude, you're an idiot. Why would you say that? We have those conversations because there's just an authentic concern and care for each other. And I'm not trying to change his mind. I'm just like, dude, I just don't see it. Help me see from your perspective.
Yes. That was basically the whole podcast right there.
I love it.
No,
I love it. Where can they find, is that podcast on all the different platforms?
It's on jrob.com. Okay. And it is also on YouTube. The handle is Beth Rob Open Bar.
Gotcha. And I'll drop all the links in the podcast notes when we publish this next week.
Okay.
Final thoughts, guys.
What? Final thoughts?
Final thoughts. My final thoughts are always hang loose. No matter what's going on in your life out there, no matter what you're facing, what challenges you have, just be quiet. God will always give you a way out of the darkness. And be loving, be caring, give, and you will receive.
Beth, are there times? Okay, I gotta ask another question. Are there times, Beth? Are there times when you just are like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" And you look over there at him, and he's like, and you're like, "No, dude, I'm mad." Like, are there moments where you look at him, where you're like, "Dude, how do you stay that calm? Like, how are you that peaceful?"
Oh, yes. Like, there's so many times. As a matter of fact, our girls, we commiserate sometimes with Jay. I'll call him up. They'll be in California, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Mr. J. Rob's being really bad today. And they're like, what's he doing? Oh, he's just bad. And I'm like, he just doesn't agree with me or whatever, just being himself. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with you? And during our podcast, there's sometimes when he'll be saying something, and I'm like, oh, the other day he said something, and I'm like, that's not even true. That is not at all how you are. Why are you telling this like this? He goes, no, I think that everything should be love or what. And I'm like, tell that you get mad. And so, like, we have those conversations.
Well, just a disclaimer for my audience and for you guys. My sister called me about a week ago and she said, I was listening to your podcast and you said blah, blah, blah. That ain't how that went down when you were 12 years old. And I'm like, really? She's a year and a half, 2 years younger than me. I'm like, tell me how it went down. But anyway, Beth, final thoughts for our audience today.
Let everything you do it out of love, and love unconditionally. We're all just, we're all just children of God.
Yeah.
That's why I love this woman right here.
Come on. I see it. I see it in your countenance, bro. I see it in your countenance. Guys, thank you so much. Guys, jrob.com, JAYROBB.com. Go check them out, guys. They've got some amazing things going on right now. I mean, he is the guru of peace. They are the hang loose movement. And if they do have such an unbelievable spirit and unbelievable heart, man, I had fun. This was fun. I had a blast today. Thank you so much.
It was fun.
Ditto to you, brother. Ditto to you. We can feel your spirit and energy, Ken. You're amazing. So
God's good.
Thank you. It's an honor to be in your presence.
God's good. Guys, thank you for joining us on another episode of As the Leader Grows. And again, I am your host, Ken Jocelyn. This is Beth and my man Jay, the guru of peace, the leaders of the Hang Loose movement. Check them out, jayrobb.com, JAYROBB.com. We'll see you next week on As the Leader Grows.
We love you.